everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Welcome to Stan's Wine Bar for episode of the 197. They're slowing down a little bit. Summer's coming. I work in a tourist destination area, San Juan Islands, Friday Harbor, and it gets really busy, and it's beautiful weather, and so it's going to be harder for me to continue to do episodes on a daily basis. As you've noticed, things have kind of been spread out a little bit. Maybe that's good, maybe not, I don't know. Haven't seen the stats on it yet. Like I said in the past, people have been catching up, and I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate the fact that you're watching. Thank you to all my friends out there who watch regularly. Continue to watch, continue to support me, make comments if you feel so inclined to do so. I really appreciate those comments. Actually, just real quickly, I won't spend a lot of time on this. The reason I like the comments is when people come to my channel, come to my programs, they see that people are engaging and watching. So if you think, well, it doesn't really matter, I can tell Stan I watch his episodes. It does matter to me. And it does matter to my program. So if you'd like to support me, I know you want to support me, make comments. I'll respond to your comments. But make a comment about the program, about something you like, disliked. I don't care. Just make a comment. I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Well, with summer arriving, we are thinking now in terms of what wines go best with warmer weather and barbecues and picnics and out on the deck and shellfish and all those things that our diet does change when the weather gets better. We like lighter foods perhaps, or we do more barbecuing. Whatever it is, our diet changes slightly in the summertime. So what kind of whites are you looking for this summer? Well, we have 3 here, and they're all kind of all over the place. But I think that's good because that gives you an idea of the many different varieties that you can try. And one of them, one of my favorite varietals, one of my favorites, and I know a lot of people avoid it because they don't know what it is. And that's a problem with the wine world, especially when you get into French wines, and perhaps you feel this way, is when you read the label, you're not sure what you're getting. You're more comfortable if it says Pinot Gris or Pinot Grigio, or if it says Chardonnay, or if it says Sauvignon Blanc. That makes you comfortable. You're nervous about going into an area that you don't know anything about. And if you don't have a wine steward, girl or guy, whatever, to guide you along that way, you tend to, kind of stay away from those types of wines. And so hopefully you're watching this, hopefully you're learning from this, and you're willing to try new things. I encourage that. I would never want you to go into something new and dislike it. So that's what this program is for me to review these wines. You can kind of get a grasp of what they are, and perhaps you won't be so fearful about buying those wines. And the one I'm talking about in particular is Côte de Gascon. And this is a region in France, in southern France, where they do a lot of whites. And this is Domaine Charolais, Côte de Gascon. And the blend in the Côte de Gascon, and this is what I like about these wines, not only are they delicious in most cases, I have yet, by the way, to find one that I didn't like. They're a blend of, let's see, this one is 50% Gros Manseng, 40% Sauvignon Blanc, so you know what Sauvignon Blanc is, and 10% Uni Blanc. Sometimes they'll be Petit Manseng, but Uni Blanc, sometimes they'll even be Colombard. But this particular one has Gros Manseng, Sauvignon Blanc, and Uni Blanc. And I know a lot of you have not heard of Uni Blanc, a lot of you have not heard of Gros Manseng, but these are grapes that produce some very, very nice, delicious, crisp whites. And let's give this one a try. Oh, by the way, this rolls in at $10. And how many of us do not like to find a wine for $10 that's good? With summertime coming, we might be entertaining guests. We need something that's reasonably priced. This is a Charles Neal import wine, and I was, 2013, sorry. So, let's see what we get on the nose. So just try to remember that Côte de Gascon, forgot to give a close-up. So look at that label. Hopefully you can read it. Côte de Gascon, 2013, and $10. I mean, come on, $10. Let's see what we get on the nose. I get this right off the bat. I get a little bit of cantaloupe and wet stone. There's a little like oatmeal quality to this, which is interesting. Just a hint of like fresh cut grass. Yeah, interesting, like an oatmeal, like fresh oats. Not like oatmeal, but like the fresh oats, like the fresh cut, steel cut oats are coming through, which is very interesting and intriguing to me. I'm getting some white and orange blossoms. A little bit of peach pit, like the pulp around the peach pit comes through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice and dry. You like that in a wine, especially if you're doing like a shellfish, like mussels and oysters. I mean, for $10, this rocks. It has cut grass. It has lemon, lemon peel, lemon notes coming through. Myers lemon, which is a sweeter lemon, coming through. The white flowers come through. I get a little wet stone, like you just licked a wet rock. There's a nice herbal component to this. Good acidity. I mean, it really it really pops on the palate, really bright, but at the same time it has a nice roundness on the mid palate, which I like a lot. Like once again, I found a Côte de Gascon that I really, really like. It finishes with this nice lemon, kind of peachy, lemon, white flower, orange blossom sort of thing going on. Really mouth-watering, and that cut grass just barely comes through. For those of you nervous about cut grass, it is barely there, just a faint hints of that. The lemon is all day. A little bit of lime, I'm getting a little bit of lime coming through also. Great bottle of wine, $10. And like I said, I've never been disappointed with any Côte de Gascon. This one has a lot of Sauvignon Blanc in it, less Uni Blanc, no Colombard. Gros Manseng, sometimes they have, like I said, Petit Manseng, but they're always really good and they're always inexpensive. So put that in your memory bank. Côte de Gascon. I'm going to go B on this one. I think it's a really well-made white and a great price. Let's move on. Now we're going to go to a Washington white blend. You know, one of the things that I've kind of been watching very closely is the decline in interest in white blends from Washington and from Cali, except, you know, of course, Caymus Conundrum always does well. It's one of those classic, iconic white blends that just seems to keep going and going. But I'm kind of concerned about that because you know, the Côte de Gascon is a white blend, and a lot of people drink white blends that they like. I think it's just interesting. It's not one of those things where it doesn't have the varietal on it. A lot of people just kind of shy away from it. And if you're really curious about wine, if you really want to expand your palate, which I know you guys do, you want to expand your palate, be willing to try different things. Now I have a group where we try a lot of wines. Last event I had was 135 people, but they got to taste wines before they actually bought them, and that's a really, really nice way to do it. Or programs like this where you have somebody that you trust. Hopefully you trust me. Hopefully you trust me. Programs like this, you find a critic that you really trust, and you listen to what they have to say, and you follow their direction, and hopefully you're not disappointed. But I'm really curious about these white blends, because like this one, this is from Kyra, one of my favorite producers in Washington State. In fact, it was my winery of the year in 2014. This is a 2012 Opal, Ancient Lakes appellation. And this is a blend of 59% Viognier, 26% Riesling, and 15% Roussanne. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. 59 Viognier, 26, yeah, that works, and then 15 Roussanne. So, a lot of, like I said, I think and you can make a comment. I would like to see comments on this, email me, whatever, why you personally avoid buying wines that don't specifically say the varietal right on the front. Is that tough for you to make that leap? This one's only $10, this Kyra Opal. Nice blend of Viognier, Riesling, and Roussanne. Very curious to try this. It's been a while. They call it Opal because, well, you have to call it something, right? It would be really confusing if they just put the percentages across the front. And in fact, Cayma's Conundrum doesn't ever tell you what's in their wine, yet people clamor for that. So why isn't that wave going through all the whites? See, that's what I'm curious about, why people are kind of shying away. I mean, 14 Hands does a Hot to Trot, from St. Michel does a Hot to Trot white. It does okay. Ross Andrew quit doing Meadow, which I was surprised about, which is a really good white blend. Kyra's hopefully continues to do this Opal. Let's see what we get on the nose. So you talk about wet stone right off the bat, which is really curious to me. There's a smell there that is so prominent. I am just... Man, it's right there. I wish I had somebody here with me to kind of give me for some reason it's escaping me. This very perfumed on the nose. I like that, what you'd expect with a little Riesling and Viognier. Definitely getting some apricot pit. This is more the pits of the fruit. Apricot, peaches. I'm getting a little bit of, I guess it's a little bit of papaya coming through on the nose. And there's definitely like a underlying apple notes. And all those are typical of Viognier, Riesling, Roussanne. They all have those very aromatic qualities to them. I'm getting almost like I can't put my finger on it, almost like a lychee nut or a, what is it? A little bit of a nuttiness coming through, I guess. So let's see what we get on the palate. See, I really like this wine because it has there's a lot of apple notes coming through big time, but underneath those apples are mango, papaya. I get a little bit of apricot coming through. Very delicious. It has a little bit of a sweetness to it, but it finishes dry. And this is really curious. It finishes dry, but the sweet characteristics of the mango and the papaya come through and kind of settle in on the back of the tongue, which is really, really interesting. This will be a great picnic wine going out on a hike and you want a white to have with your food or just to enjoy in the sun. This is a beauty. $10. I really like that price point for this wine. Actually, Kyra, you're coming in at a hot price. She changed the distributors not too long ago, and when she changed distributors, the price actually went down a little bit, which is good for the consumer, absolutely. This would be a great sushi wine, a great Asian food wine. It has a little bit of spice. It has enough of that sweetness to it to tackle those spiciness, but at the same time it finishes on the drier side, which I like a lot. And get that, like I said, that mango, almost a little bit of a tangerine element coming through on the backside. I'm going to go B+ on that one, I think, for the money. I like both of them a lot. This has a little bit more weight, a little more body, a little more complexity than the Côte de Gascon, but I love the don't get me wrong, I love that Côte de Gascon. B is a great grade for a wine at $10, and B+ is also a great score. Grade. You know, I really, and I'll just reiterate this, I really got away from the 100-point system because it became a 10-point system, 90 to 100. Very few wines, well, let's say 85 to 100, so it became a 15-point system. Magazines really got into not publishing really poor scores, and I suppose for some wineries that's a good thing, but you know, for the consumer, you know, Robert Parker started out as a consumer advocate, and I think he did a good job. He doesn't advertise. I don't know all the ins and outs of what he does, but he is certainly spearheaded the way for consumer advocacy, and that's what we're here for. Hopefully, as a wine critic, we're not here for the wineries. I have a lot of winery friends. There's a lot of winemakers out there I'm really close to, but bottom line is, as a consumer, as a consumer, you are spending your money. And if there's a wine out there that I don't think is worth it, that is really poorly made, or is really, you know, too funky for the average palate, you know, I'm going to tell you about it. And I think it's wrong. I think it's a trend that I really don't like, and that is that wine critics, magazines that do not put really bad scores out there for the consumer to see. And they've become winery advocates versus consumer advocates. And that's my opinion. You can disagree with me. That's the way life is, right? But I think that's where we got to. You got magazines like Wine Enthusiast and you know, Wine Spectator that have a lot of advertising in there, and you wonder, you know, how much does that advertising influence what they're doing in the magazine as far as reviews go? So, you know, I mean, I don't make any money doing these videos on YouTube. I know I have friends that want me to make money off of this. The main reason I do this is because I really, really do like helping people find great values, and if they're going to spend $50 to $100, I want to make sure that, you know, it's worth it for them to do that. And that's really my main drive in doing these. I'm also writing a book. Hopefully I can get really serious about that soon, so I can get that out there. And I'm not going to say anything about the title because, you know, I'm not sure if I'm learning the ins and outs of self-publishing or getting a publisher and all that sort of thing. Let's move on. 2014 Camiac. It says Camiac. Unoaked Chardonnay, Columbia Valley. This rolls in at $12. And the reason I picked an unoaked Chardonnay is because in the summertime, I think I forgot to show the opal. Maybe getting a little rusty. Maybe I need to do more of these. Here's the opal, for those of you that want to see the label. She's changed up her label quite a bit. I'm very proud of her. She's done a nice job. Now, let's move on to the Camiac. Unoaked Chardonnay. The reason I went unoaked is we're talking summertime. Oak might be a little bit too much for you in the summertime. Maybe you're looking for something a little bit lighter, and unoaked Chardonnay will fall into that category. A lot of people like the oak and the chard, you know, that's their thing, and but if you're expanding your palate, how many unoaked Chardonnays have you tried versus oak Chardonnays? I just always encourage everybody to expand their palates. Try new things. Maybe you don't like unoaked Chardonnay, but you certainly will not know unless you try an unoaked Chardonnay. And for $12, you know, that's not much of a risk. Let's see what we get on the nose. A lot of apples, a little bit of that, more of an Asian pear. A little bit challenged. I'm not getting a lot off the nose. There's a dusty element coming through, but you know, not a huge amount. So a little pears, a little apples, a little bit of dust. Let's see what we get on the palate. Ooh, that was kind of weird. Very, very refreshing Chardonnay. So without the oak, you get the pure fruit of the Chardonnay. I'm getting a lot of apple and pear, again. Very fresh. Like I said, there's no oak, so you're getting just a really nice, easy drinking white. The apple really comes through. It reminds me of biting into a Red Delicious apple, and you get that, you know, that aftertaste you get right after that. This is not exciting. I'm not excited about this Chardonnay at all. I think it's kind of boring. It's definitely a great little quaffing Chardonnay. I hate to use that word, but you know, just glug, glug, glug. You don't have to think about it. Kind of like the Pinot Grigio of Chardonnays. It's certainly not offensive by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I just don't get any nuances out of it. The finish, I get a little bit of a pear thing going on. Let me give it another whirl, just see. It's kind of like I just bit into a, you know, kind of a riper apple that's not like super crisp. That, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not excited about that wine at all. For $12, I think I would pass. I've tasted better better Unoaked Chardonnays with a little bit more brightness to them. I'm just curious what it says on the back as far as the printing is way too small for me to see whether they did it in neutral oak barrels or stainless steel. I cannot see that. I did not look it up. I apologize. I didn't think I would have to look it up. But it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not stainless steel. They might even do it in concrete tanks. That's getting to be a big thing these days, is do concrete tanks. $12. You're not investing a lot of money. I'm going to go C on this one. I think it's average. I don't think it's fantastic. It doesn't have anything to offer that would put it above a C. It's definitely, there's nothing wrong with it. It would be good with shellfish for sure, but you know, I've tasted better, so I'm going to go C on that. There you go, some whites to try this summer, spring and summer. Really looking forward to this, doing some more episodes. Thank you for watching, and remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be willing to expand your palate. Try new things. But never, ever, ever let anyone tell you what you should or should not like. If we do that, together we can take the snob out of wine.